Hi VC, it's Rob here with another video, and this video is another contest entry. And this is a contest entry for Brad H2 Vinyl. He's reached over 350 subscribers, so he's got a contest going, and he's thankfully he's put an extension on it, so that's given me an opportunity to join in the fun. So 3 questions. I've been watching Brad's channel for not that long really, but I have watched quite a few of his videos, and he's always joking about the fact that they're long, and personally, if I like somebody, if they want to do a video that's 50 minutes, there's a few people on the VC who do long videos. I ain't got a problem with that, because if you're interested in someone and you sort of warm to them, then I don't think you should think, oh, my video's too long. Everyone's comfortable with doing whatever length video they want to. I don't think you should think that someone's going to sit and watch the video in one sitting. Someone could be busy, watch 10 minutes of it, watch another 20 minutes. He might watch an hour video, he might end up watching it in 4 different segments. I do that from time to time when someone's put a long video up, but it never stops me, watching the video. So because I think Brad did an entry to Jeff Kemping's contest, and it was nearly an hour long, and I watched that. It was entertaining, good stuff. So let's better crack on with this contest. And 3 questions, 350. So he wants us to show 3 albums or records with the spoken word. So I'm going to just talk about one specific band who I've spoke about in the past, so sorry to bore you. I've never shown this before, and the band in question is a band called Public Service Broadcasting from London. Sort of formed, I think, in the middle of the noughties, started releasing stuff about 2012, 2013, and they sort of use the spoken word, library footage, documentaries, and put it to sort of dance music really. They're probably my favourite band at the moment. They've released three really good albums, and they've released some 12 inches. So I want to show this White Star liner, which came out probably the middle of last year, and this is sort of a concept all about the Titanic. So I saw them on TV performing this in Belfast, and this just uses spoken word. So the first track is The Unsinkable Ship, and it just sort of has footage of people describing the Titanic, and also the next track, White Star Liner, which is all about how they built it. They're really clever what they do, and if you've not heard of Public Service Broadcasting, there are a few people on the VC. Steve Whitty is a big fan, but you don't see him shown that much on the vinyl community, so I don't mind showing them. Like I say, one of my favourite bands. So Public Service Broadcasting. The 3 members is a guy called, there's Wigglesworth, he's the drummer. Someone, I think it's J Wild Goose Esquire, he's sort of the brains of the outfit, and a guy called JF Abraham. And the 3 albums they've released, I'll get them in order. So this one is called Inform, Educate and Entertain, and this is, it's not as much of a concept. There's all different sort of themes on this. So we've got Spitfire, which obviously refers to the aircraft. You've got Signal 30, which is all about sort of driving carefully or not driving carefully. You've got a great track called Everest, which is all about the naming of Everest and it being conquered. And this is a really strong album. This was a debut album. And then after that they released The Race for Space. And this is more of a concept, so this is talking about America and Russia racing for space, and this has got some really good tracks on it. A track called Go. Trying to get this out of here. Fire in the Cockpit, The Race for Space. It's just it's really exciting music. It excites you, interests you. You know, if you're somebody who's sort of into space, I mean, sort of my generation, I suppose. I can remember man landing on the moon. I would have been about 5, sitting in front of a black and white TV. I didn't sort of understand the importance of it really. I just remember seeing the guy putting the flag on the moon. But yeah, and this is a really good album. Very strong. One of my favourite albums from the last 10 years. So that's The Race for Space. And also, I thought I'd throw this one in. So this is called Every Valley, and this is all about the coal mining industry in South Wales, which doesn't sound that appealing, but when you listen to it, it's really moving. How people sort of depended on the mining industries for income, and how it brought communities together. But it's just really strong, really moving. There's a Welsh male voice choir on here as well. But all the way through the album, there's spoken word commentary, and yeah, it's really good stuff. So yeah, that's my spoken word segment over with. Now, one thing about Brad, you know, he likes his dance music like I do, and he does show quite a lot of new stuff on his channel, which is refreshing. I always like to see new records being shown on the VC as well as old stuff. So going through 5 records that you've never shown on the VC. So I thought I'd show this album. So it's Baxter Jury, and It's a Pleasure. So this came out, I think it was 2016. So Baxter Jury is the son of a really famous sort of English singer from the late 70s, and the singer in question, of course, is Ian Dury, his father. And on that album cover, that little guy there is actually Ian Dury's son, Baxter. So this album, New Boots and Panties, great album from, I think it's from 77. So there's Ian Dury, and here's Baxter Jury. And he's very similar to his dad. If you listen to Baxter, you could be mistaken at times for thinking it is actually Ian Dury, but that's a good thing. I'm a big fan of Ian Dury. My introduction to him was a CD, Happy Soup. I think this was 2011, but I picked this album up a while ago, and it's one I've not shown on the VC. So I've not actually. I love using the immortal words. I've never seen him shown on the VC, but I haven't heard anyone talking about Baxter Jury. He's got a new album coming out. I think it's on Friday. I know he's touring, doing a gig in Manchester in April, and I might go along to that because I've never seen him live, and I really like him. Kind of quite hard to describe, really. He sings in a very matter-of-fact way, much like his father. His father had a #1 in the UK in '78, I think it was, Hit Me With Your Rhythm Stick. He sadly died, I think maybe about 20 years ago. Suffered from polio, but he was a real character, sort of unmistakably British, if you like. But his son It must be difficult when your father's been so successful, but you know, Bats the Jury's not had anywhere near the success, but I do really like him. So yeah, Bats the Jury, and it's a pleasure. Now, another record I've not shown on VC, because I only got it a couple of weeks ago, is Eric Burdon and the Animals, and this is the greatest hits. So I was watching a documentary on Eric Burdon only a week or two ago, and found him a really interesting character from the northeast of England, Newcastle, and of course the vocalist with the Animals, but him and Alan Price from the Animals did not get on. Alan Price took all the royalties for House of the Rising Sun, and that caused major issues in the documentary. I don't want to repeat the expletives that Eric Burdon used to describe Alan Price, but put it this way, he's not on his Christmas card list. Now this is Eric Burdon when the Animals split up. He formed Eric Burdon and the Animals, which I didn't really know about. So when I picked this up, I just thought it was the Animals. But am I glad that I picked this up and not just an Animals album, because this is so soulful and bluesy and dirty. It's great, and it's really whetted my appetite for Eric Burdon. I know that he was he had War as his backing band, and then War kicked him out. But Eric Burdon's fascinating character, still alive, still performing. I think he's done about 32 albums. Really happy with life at the moment, and yeah, it's a really good documentary, and this is a really good album. So yeah, Eric Burdon and the Animals' greatest hits. Now, this is an album that I picked up probably 3 months ago, maybe. I don't have anything by this artist, but I do now, and it's a bit of blues. So it's the original Blues Brothers, Buddy Guy and Junior Wells, and it's on this Blue Moon label. So I can remember seeing Buddy Guy on, I think it was the Jules Holland show in the UK, quite a successful programme that's been running for over 20 years. He has all sorts of artists come in and sing, and I can remember seeing Buddy Guy. This was maybe about 15 years ago, and I thought he was knocking on a bit then, but what a guitarist, and he's still alive now. Steve Carlson went to his club just before Christmas, and that really sort of got me interested in Buddy Guy, to the extent where I was looking for his stuff. I have seen a little bit of his stuff, but it's been maybe a little bit pricey. I saw this and I picked it up relatively cheap, and boy did I enjoy this. Really like it. So it's just sort of got me even more interested in Buddy Guy. I mean, before I joined the VC, I don't think I had any blues records. I don't have a huge amount now, but I do have one or two, and I'm looking at building that part of my collection. So I thought I'd show this, the original Blues Brothers, Buddy Guy and Junior Wells. Now, what else have we got? We've got two more to show, and thought I'd show this album, and it's A Fever Dream by a band called Everything Everything. And Everything Everything were formed about 2007, met at university in Manchester. There's a label. I've seen Everything Everything twice live. This is their fourth album. I'm not sure what sort of recognition they've had in America. In the UK, they've been nominated for quite a few awards. First album, Man Alive, was an amazing album. I'd love to get that on vinyl, but there's not much chance of that at the moment unless it gets reissued. This album is from 2017, so I got this when it was released. I saw them in 2017. I'm on Instagram, and if you take the time to go down my feed, you'll see some footage from when I went to see Everything. Very, very hard to sort of describe. Sort of a falsetto voice, but don't let that put you off. Influences sort of funk, dance, psychedelic, very hard to pinpoint, but really enjoyable. I've got their other 3 albums on CD. This is the only one I've got on vinyl. My son kind of got me into them in 2010 when we went to see them, so he'd have only been 15 or 16 then. And like I say, I went to see them in 2017. If you're not aware of Everything, definitely a dancey vibe to them. Maybe check them out. So yeah, Fever Dream by Everything. Now, the last album I'm going to show is, there's no chance I could have shown this on the VC, because I actually bought it today. I've been over to Sheffield, and like I always do, go record shopping when I go and see my son, and I picked this album up. So it's Pink Floyd and Animals. This is not an original, of course, it's just a reissue, remastered. And this is my 4th Pink Floyd album. There's one that I've not shown on the VC. I received Dark Side of the Moon from Randall Weaver. I bought Medal. I showed it a couple of months ago. I really like the 70s Pink Floyd, but who knows? I might start getting into the 80s and the 90s, and you know, one thing about the VC, it certainly influenced me on certain artists, and Pink Floyd topped the bill really. I've not streamed this album sort of deliberately. I looked online, and you know, the most sort of critically acclaimed albums tend to be a certain 5, which this is one of them. A few people I've seen on the VC have said this is a favourite album by Pink Floyd, and yeah, I just bit the bullet today. I've been looking for an original copy, but I never see one really, and when I do see them, they're not in that good condition. So yeah, really pleased to find this, and well, I mean, easy enough to find online, but I was in the record shop, 18 quid. I thought, yeah, today's the day. So yeah, Pink Floyd and Animals. Now, the last part of Brad's contest is to talk about maybe artists that you don't have in your collection. Now, if I like an artist, I'm gonna have some physical media by them, but there are artists that I only have on CD and I don't have any vinyl by them. So I thought I'd just show a few artists that maybe this year I'm looking to pick up on vinyl. So Moloko. So Moloko from Sheffield, Rosine Murphy from Ireland on vocal. Quite a few albums by Moloko have been reissued this year, well, last year. I think I'll probably pick one of those up this year. The Beta Band, big fan, don't have any vinyl by them. Steve Mason stuff, maybe I'll pick that up this year, but yeah, I don't have any vinyl by the Beta Band. Moby, I really like Moby. This album in particular, I mean, everyone knows Play. I don't know whether I'd get this on vinyl. I think I'd be looking to get maybe an album by him that I'm not that familiar with. Air, don't have any albums on vinyl by Air. Moon Safari, I know that album off by heart. Do I want to get it on vinyl, or will I get one of their other albums? I'm not sure, but I would like something by Air. Sorry about the glare there. A band who I really like, and I've never seen them. I have seen them perform once on live, but I've never really seen them in concert properly, and I'm a big fan of the Manic Street Preachers, but I don't have any vinyl by them. Again, I've got a 12-inch actually, but I don't have any albums by the Manics. Yeah, big fan of the Manics. And lastly, I don't have any vinyl by Blur. So I think I've I've got most of Blur's albums on CD, but I don't have any vinyl by them on album. I'd like to sort that out this year. So that's my entry to Brad's contest. Again, Brad's got a really, I wouldn't say it was a unique channel, but the way he sort of conducts himself, his videos, he's very laid back. There's some people on the VC that you really feel that they're talking to you, and he's got that. He's got a talent for that. You know, you feel like you're really in a conversation with him, really. And I find him really engaging. I'm looking. He's got quite a lot of videos. He's been on the VC for a while, and I'll probably be going back on his videos because, you know, he likes a big fan of the Chemical Brothers, who are a band or DJs, if you like, that I really like. So I'm sure he's got some videos showing some of their stuff. I think he's got everything they've ever done, or nearly everything. But there's a little bit of crossover in our taste of music, so and that always helps, of course. So that's it from me. Maybe go and check H2 Vinyl, Brad's channel out. Really recommend it. And I hope you enjoy this video. If you've got any comments about what to say, I'll always get back to you. Thanks for watching this video, and bye for now.